Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm connected. Hope you can hear me.
Okay, you can start.
Thank you. Yes, hello, everyone, and greetings from Sweden. I am Per-Olof Hedvall, and I work at Lund University in the southern parts of Sweden, where I lead a research group at the Department of Design Sciences. I am here to present a paper based on our research on categorizations and universal design. It is called Moving Beyond Human Bodies on Display, Signs of a Shift in Categorization. And so let's see if we can get the presentation up as well. Yeah, so on the display right now, you have a photograph that I took this summer. It is from a coffee shop where some of the tables were clearly marked with wheelchair symbols. So what does such a division of persons into persons with and without disabilities create in terms of inequality, and how can we create categorizations that support universal design? These are the kind of questions that we ask in our research. I wrote the paper together with Stefan Johansson, who is a doctor of human-computer interaction from Stockholm, and Stina Ericsson, who is a professor in Swedish and linguistics from Gothenburg. So it's a multidisciplinary paper where we combine human-computer interaction, linguistics, and design sciences. Just a few words about the road to here. We've been working for several years on categorizations and universal design. And the reason why we've chosen to work with categorization rather than categories, for instance, is to emphasize that categorization are active processes, that categorizations are always done to someone, by someone, and that categorizations values certain perspectives and silences others, giving advantages to some and disadvantages to others. And they are often being done in an invisible way. So our research foci have been categorizations that do not lead to inequality and stigma, and categorizations moving beyond patterns of norm and deviation. And this paper that I'm here to present today, it is called Moving Beyond Human Bodies on Display, Signs of a Shift in Categorization. And what we aimed to do in that paper was to enhance the understanding of how goals and ambitions regarding inclusion, how they are realized in design processes. So our main research question was what characterizes how goals and ambitions regarding inclusion are realized in signage on toilet doors. And the material that we brought into the study were about 300 photographs that we've collected in 3 major research projects during the last 5 years. And in this paper, we concentrated on photos of toilet doors. The photographs have been sent to us as we've collected them as part of citizen science studies, and some of them we've taken ourselves as well. And a significant share of the photographs that people have sent to us have been from toilet doors. So clearly toilet doors are fascinating, and especially signage on toilet doors, and that's what we wanted to look into. And this research is part of a current research project called the Syntax of Equality, which is a 4-year-long project funded by the Swedish innovation agency Genova. And just a brief overview, in the paper we present 3 patterns of how people realize inclusive ambitions and goals: addition, combination, and non-inclusion. Non-inclusion is a new word that we used in a previous paper this semester, but I will tell a bit more about it later. And we discussed the patterns that we've seen as part of a growing unease with inclusion as such, and a growing unease with categorizations of people, bodies, and roles. So first, additive strategies. On the display now, I have a photograph of a toilet door where there are 4 pictograms of a person in a wheelchair, a man, a woman, and a woman changing diaper on a baby. So the in additive strategies, inclusive signage is accomplished by adding more and more pictograms. And we can keep adding, but there will still always be someone feeling left out. The next one is combinatory strategies, where inclusive signage is accomplished by composite pictograms. So here it is, people aren't divided into separate genders, but it is rather the notion of gender that is categorized. But this sign, which combines 3 different genders, it is also still a categorization of gender. And the third strategy, non-inclusion, in that we've seen more and more photographs of toilet doors and other parts of the city where people, persons, bodies, and roles aren't part of the signage at all, aren't categorized at all. So it is accomplished by not depicting persons, bodies, and roles at all. So maybe there is a growing unease with the term inclusion as such. Social inclusion has become sort of a self-evident, taken for granted truth, but it also carries potent power structures and presumed shared norms, where someone is positioned as the one to determine who is already included and who is instead to be included. If we compare that to categorization, categorization has the same tendencies, that the categorization is always done by someone to someone. Someone categorizes someone else. An example was the toilet door with the 4 different pictograms, where we highlight that some pictograms, you can put pictograms in quite a long row, but it will never sort of be enough. So since while well intended, this strategy is sort of doomed to always carry the limitations and demarcations, and thus to always be also exclusive. And maybe there's also a growing unease with categorizations of people as such. What we see in the 3 different patterns that we've identified is a shift in categorization from literal to abstract to no bodies categorized at all. And while additive strategies rely on the prevailing traditional ways to categorize, combinatory and non-inclusive strategies are based on new emergent ways to categorize. So some examples, the composite pictogram that categorizes the notion of gender rather than specific genders such as woman, non-binary, etc. That's one example of a more emergent way to categorize people, or categorizing gender. And but this still contrasts markedly with non-inclusive strategies, which do not categorize gender at all. And regarding non-inclusion, when we speak about non-inclusive design, we mean design that resists categorizations of bodies and roles, and that does not come with predefined or presupposed limits in terms of who it is meant for. And we presented that at another Italian conference earlier this fall called Universal Design 2022. So there's a paper describing 7 patterns supporting non-inclusive design. And I have the reference at the end of the presentation. So now I open up for questions. I've put together a sort of a summary that we can have on display if you have any questions. I just want to say that in the presentation I also have some contact details, and if you have any photographs of toilet doors, please send them to us. We love toilet doors and photographs of toilet doors. And there are some references that we base our work on as well at the end. So thank you.
Thank you for your speech, Per-Olof. Is there any question from the audience? We have not question for you, but I had to share some thought about your research. Signature on toilet doors is a current and very complex topic, I think, and because pictogram represents static and fixed categories, and so we have to think about how signage could be actually inclusive, and is there a visual solution to this problem? You have written in your presentation that this is a question, research for language science, for architecture and design. But I think it's mostly a problem for graphic science, for who have to draw the pictograms. So I think your question research could be very useful for our community. Thank you very much.